evening, folks. Welcome back to yet another late night live stream. Sorry for the late start today. Had a lot of lab work to do. Honestly, I'm surprised I could find time to do this at all. And look who's here. It's Cece. Good to see you. Glad to have you. Alrighty. We continue. Oh, there's gonna be a lot of shenanigans. Look at this very convenient continue button. I don't have to fumble around the load game menu to look for my save. Even though it's always the one at the bottom, because I save like that. Okay, what kind of shenanigans are we finding ourselves into right now? Right, we left off in the midst of our cross-examination. Right. Our second one, because our first one was so rudely interrupted by the jury. Who we had to convince to not end the trial on the spot. Alright, so this guy carried 4 passengers, but he overcharged by 20%. It could be... Yes, it is 1 pence, but like, you know, think about it. Wait, no, 25%. I'm dumb. You overcharged by 25%. Imagine that. Basic math. It's very easy. I could never make a mistake at it. All right, I do not want to present here. I just want to talk to you. So, were there only 4 passengers in your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fare? Is that right? It's impossible to make. I was so cold. All I could do was stop myself from. Was all I could do to stop myself from passing out. Sorry. What did you say? You kind of like sped through that one. Like the last one of the day, pay. Okay. I'm getting chilblains just listening to you. Chilblains? The fuck is that? It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Doesn't a dedicated coachman deserve an extra penny per passenger? You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. If only there had been a 5th passenger on the omnibus that night. Then we would have another suspect. If only. Maybe there's a stowaway. I keep on pressing E for present, not Q. Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir. And I just told you that I did. A flat fare of 5 pence across the board. It's not something to be proud of. The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you'd so desperately needed, it's gone, dead and buried. I'd been happy if I had ever existed in the first place. This blood-curdling sight. You mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir. So is the game going to tell me whenever, like, another witness is reacting to a testimony, or do I have to, like, scan around myself every time? A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man the moment his life is taken. Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed. Really now? Good gracious, really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. But Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker gent next to me make a sharp intake of breath, see? That's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw that horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see the knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. I want that twink obliterated. Alright, so you saw the stabbing, apparently. So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him. That's what I said, isn't it? It was bothering me before, this was. Just for a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question. I call bullshit. Anyway, there was only 2 of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been much talk of a 5th passenger, but as yet, 0 evidence. Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty. Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. Wish I could work out what it was. Do we have anything that contradicts that?
Hold it!
I'll check after this. Earlier, you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Oh, yes, that's right. You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding a knife in an ice pick grip. I suppose. I might have, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? So you didn't see, or did you? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. Oh, I expect that was me, sir. When I turned around, yes, you saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking out from his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the handle was the famous man, yes. So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all. I really thought that I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I? What? What's this? Pursue.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. That was a more assertive excuse me. I remember the first one was like really wimpy. No, this is character development. Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? No, you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh? Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Some days are like that. Let's see. Let's go over what he's saying. Well, what's up, Sandy? Yeah, no worries. Glad you're here regardless. Could he have just happened to the exact moment the crime was committed? Let's egg him on. Let's just say no, so we can see what fair play says to that. See how he can try to refute us. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on the top of an omnibus, that is. Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as a Ballarat day. Ballarat? It was a grim scene. I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man? Blood-soaked hands? I guess you mean the gloves. Blood-soaked? Well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Both of them. Well, well, well. What do we have here? Actually, only one hand was covered in blood. You saw that from the roof through the skylight. Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had a pretty good view. And there was a lamp on the inside of the carriage as well, so I'm quite sure of what I saw. This banker's latest statement. I feel sure there's something not quite right about it. When you feel something doesn't add up, Mr. Naruhodo, that's when you should have a good look through the court record. I already looked way ahead of you. If you're not careful when you press these witnesses, the danger is the jury will end up believing something unhelpful as they did before. Maybe, but we can't let the fear of that happening stop us from uncovering important new information. Yes, you're so right. You're so right, bestie. I need to pay careful attention here. Don't want to miss even a flicker of a reaction among these witnesses. Okay, well, I already did that. Yeah, I got you, Sasato. I don't need your tutorial. Alright, at the very end. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Alright, can I just click to the last one? No. I have to, like, move. Alright, one more. There we go. Now we present. Ba-bam.
Objection.
Objection. Okay, you need to work on your objection, though. Blood-soaked hands. Well, I admit that soaked might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh, yes, right. And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But, as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. Arr! Bro, you're gonna fucking ruin your teeth. What is this guy? Most normal British dental care routine. In short, Mr. Fairplay, Your testimony is inconsistent. I don't know about that one, though. Yeah, sure, it's a gotcha, but, like, what does that even prove at this point, though? At most, it just says this guy's unreliable, which I guess is valuable. But no, that can't be right.
So you're the liar here, then?
Arr. Bro, his teeth are gonna be nubs by the time he's like... Well, he's already aged quite a fair bit. Maybe they're nubs already. That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said it was both hands. Wow, he's really gnawing that thing. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth? Well, Objection! It was a simple mistake. You can't just justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands, it was only one, but the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection.
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. Why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate. He's claiming to have no reason to lie. Is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, could turn the tide in this trial completely. Something to show this man has compelling reason to lie in his testimony. Do I have something like that? Picture. Do we even have something like that? Oh, we haven't looked at his ledger yet, have we? That's like the one thing we haven't inspected. What if we see a Mr. Fairplay in there? This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry. Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside? Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Wonder when we'll see him again. Actually, I wonder. I assure you will not find Mr. Shulm's name inside. I don't know, he seems like the kind of guy that would rack up a bunch of debt. Well, let's see what we find. I can't read any of this. Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Ah, goodness! What is it? Look at this! Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually. Ah, this guy wants his debt forgiven. This fucker wants... Why is the banker in debt? But yeah, this fucker wants the guy to get sent to the gallows, so he has no one to pay back his debt to. Bruce Fairplay. The witness testifying at this very moment. Hey, welcome back, Sandy. Sholmes couldn't support his spending habits with his investigation career? Perhaps. I don't know how well investigation pays, though. Probably gets most of his money from what's their name? Wilson? Writing all those, short stories. Sholmes strikes me as the kind of guy to like go around and solving these mysteries and like just forgets to ask for pay. You know? He's just there for fun. Oh yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? Just to spread his name? It's advertising, you know? Self-advertising, self-promo. Something I could definitely do more of. Oh, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? 20 guineas? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. Possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information. Very useful at the moment, yes. Bruce Fairplay. Not playing fair at all, are you? That I have evidence. My lord? Yes, counsel? The defense is ready to present evidence. By Jove, are you sure? Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony. Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court. Well, well, well. Looks like somebody's getting charged with perjury. Take that! Take that! This is the list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused's extortion. The point is, amongst the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas, not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say? Well, what of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case? These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, we were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment. All outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist. Yep, just what I thought. Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay? Is it not the case that you claim that, in your testimony, to have seen something you never in fact saw, in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? And thus, all his teeth were fractured. Sandy, haha! Order, order, order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay! Bro, I'm compelled to suggest you to stop doing that. You gotta break him, dude. Yes, my lord. Lord? Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have most serious implications among your future, sir. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim? Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony. All right, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch. A pinch? But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on Mr. McGilded's hands. Both of them. And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. So you keep saying? I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir. No, no twinks allowed. Go ahead, Mr. First. Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? What? Holy shit, right back into the fucking... Back into the wall and then recoiled. That was some force. It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yes. Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Reminds you of Beyblade battles? Really any like toy anime series, you know? Or like card game anime series. Fucking Bakugan, man. Yu-Gi-Oh! There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself, no. Not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold, in truth of the fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying that we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's blood is clearly visible in the seat, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial, no significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. All right.
Hold it!
No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record. I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless... I know what I saw, and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands. He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might have been mistaken about what he saw, but why? Your reasoning is dire. 102, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers. Hold it! Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well you know. For crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly done it. It was just trying to save us all some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? How do you hope to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty? Well, that's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I just a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the Derby. Oh, he's a gambler. I was gonna win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend. That's a sure thing. Now his name makes a little more sense. A little guinea or 10. I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. Gambling ruins lives? Sure does. Don't do it, folks. Look, you never win in gambling, alright? You know what they do to people who are good at gambling? They kick them out of casinos. It's all a scam, for real. Once you understand how to actually get an edge, casinos and online casinos or gambling apps, even fucking sports betting apps, they don't let you have that shit. They prey on your ignorance. Yeah, some people win, but who cares? Letting some people win is how they get their money, you know? Letting some people win, tricks other people into thinking they have a chance. I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. Yeah, I've learned recently that, even sports betting apps, if you actually make optimal bets, they won't let you bet that much money anymore. They'll cap the amount that you can bet to less than $10 or some shit. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's all about expected value, right? If you can calculate expected value, which is high school probability, right? You can figure out what bets are good to take. You know? It's about how the bet is priced, not necessarily whether or not it's likely to happen. Yeah. So the idea is, if I remember correctly from what I saw, you don't need to know jack shit about sports to do optimal sports betting. But the problem is, if you do optimal sports betting, they'll ban you from the casino. So it's better to not do it anyway. Even if you don't win anything, if you still make the optimal bets, they're gonna have the alarms go off and they're gonna limit your amount anyway. So yeah, don't do it. And even if you want to do it, you still need a pretty good amount to be willing to lose if you want to if you want to actually attempt it, which is not. You shouldn't do it. I don't endorse this. Gotcha. Acceptable gambling. Acceptable is it's subjective, I guess. I mean, Look, I've fell down the gacha rabbit hole many a time. The only gacha games I play nowadays are just like card games, I suppose. At least you can save it without paying. That's true, but you pay with your time, right? That's what you do in gacha games. You pay with your time. They always make you do like dailies and stuff, right? To get that free rolling currency. And then you get so invested into their game, like even if you're free to play, because you spend every day logging in and doing all like the daily quests and all that shit, that you feel like you're compelled to stay and engage with the game, no matter what. Even if you enjoy it, or even if you don't enjoy it, that's how they get you to keep playing. It's true. You could... Not to say that people shouldn't enjoy gacha games, you know, I enjoyed them myself when I played them. It's just that, you know, that's how the machine works. Anyway, this witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work? You're a proud victim. Well, I'm happy you enjoy it, at least. I remember seeing the knife. Yeah, you do. Definitely saw that too. Blood on both hands. Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Messina the Gilded's gloves has any sign of blood on it. That's right. The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilded sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves? That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. It's true that the dark-colored stain and the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilded's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands. This is puzzling indeed. There's a secret fifth passenger. This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it.
Hold it!
You didn't see anything? Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, sir, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before, sir. Very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and say that I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir? I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. That is the definition of making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? Oh shit. Thanks for the gift sub, CC. What are you guys chatting about? LADS. Gotcha game, LADS. Wait a second, I think I know that one. It's the fucking period tracker gotcha game. No, sir, I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London's streets, no? Some discussion about the period tracker is so weird. I was joking around. I know the period thing was like a new feature, right? Like I saw a tweet about that. Like they only added it relatively recently. Oh, please. You didn't even see that? It was just so cold that night, you see. It was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid, sorry to say, sir. It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights. Beppo! Ah! There can't have been anyone else inside the carriage, or we all would have seen. Wrong, there could have been someone inside that seat, but we'll entertain this anyway. Everything you saw in the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus. That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over. Oh yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. You couldn't? Why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked. That's right. And it's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play. Ha ha ha. Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice to climb up the roof deck and look longingly into the warm cabin below. What are with these top hats? What do you mean? Well, this is obviously, you know, these are obviously fine gentlemen. What fine gentleman doesn't have a top hat? This is Great Britain. Well, I can assure you I wasn't just looking down. I was glaring, long and hard. Yes. Indubitably. That's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed. I feel like the voice I'm doing for this guy is like jumping around all over the place. Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? They might not have been able to. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events of the cabin through the skylight in the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection.
Dude, hearing you guys, or if hearing is not the right word, like seeing you guys chat about Ultimate games is like, it's like a dad, you know? If you're like a dad, like whenever one of their kids' friends come over and they just like talk about, I don't know, whatever shit they're into that like I'm too old to understand, you know? Like, that's very cool, guys. I'm more of an uncle, cool uncle. Yeah, I'll tell you, that's a compliment. I'll take that as a compliment, thank you. Much appreciated. Enough hypothetical meandering. My Nipponese friend. the fucking Nipponese is hilarious. Do you get a discount if you want your teeth cleaned? You can get a discount after my student loans are paid off. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. We'll identify the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Not the student loans. Yeah. Sometimes looking at that number makes me question my life choices. Here we go.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other. Look at these distinguished gentlemen. Of course, they have top hats too. Which means... Oh, look at this fucking guy. Look at this top hat. It's as I've drawn here. Ah! That's right, my lord. Upright postures. Oh. Here's your reminder to sit up straight. Fix your posture, you shrimps. Ergonomics. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one in which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it.
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. Your Nipponese have a foreboding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? No. Honestly, don't know. Could have been. Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? Who? Half his vocab is just Nipponese for real, man. I have a name, you know. Thrice-fired Mason? You know, if this guy was on the opposite seat, then the person that these people must have seen, that had to have been the real killer, right? Maybe that's what I'm trying to do here. I have an inkling. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. Our response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was... you.
Take that!
I was right. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
Oh my god. Dude, you're wasting like... You're wasting like so many guineas of wine. At least take a sip before you do that. If I just desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. You've smashed your hallowed chalice like 3 times already. How is it your hallowed chalice if you have like spares? It's not special anymore. Lord Van Zeeks. People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own, but I see they use the terms ill-advisedly. Oh, he's just going racist mode now. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
That premise may be wrong. What? The victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded. It creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency, counsel? The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, their testimony remains unchanged. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary. Order, order, order. What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
When elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes, all these damn hats causing problems. No wonder they went out of fashion. Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. I wonder why these hats became so tall back in the day. Was it really just like a substitute for dick measuring? You know, just like, oh, my top hat is much more vertically impressive than yours. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. Just to dominate the other hats? Yeah. They needed to find the true alpha hat. And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember. You call yourself a hatter? I mean, look at the guy's fucking... Oh, the hat that he wears. It's in tatters. The style of hat makes no difference. There is no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. The accused failed even to notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. Ah. Oh, it was McGilded that was stuffed in the seat. I mean, he's a small man after all. He could easily fit in there. Insert short joke here. He's right. There's another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. It's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it. Order. There's clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. Really? What grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man had been withholding information, you'll be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? Demand his testimony. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. Why am I raising my hand like I'm in class? The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Oh, yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. He's so polite, yeah, he's a good boy. Get the man out here, I say. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. But something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild. Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely. Man, the old lady's opinion of him has been like doing 180s. Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Fucking jury number one? What a bandwagoner. Just waiting waiting for everyone else's opinion before he says anything. Coward. Yeah, his objection is very demure. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. Alrighty, Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal the fact from the police? Begad, no, it is not my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you all, or keep me mouth shut? Tell us what Mr. McGill did. The fine fella represented me is absolutely right. In the carriage of the night of myself and the other man, there was another passenger. 'Tis true. Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after all that happened. You what? Now you're confessing to being an accomplice? No, Magnus McGilded, that convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and not in any way involved, you see. Little child? What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd assume she'd done it. They've hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. And who was this young child, if you speak? That I don't know. You don't know? Well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
We've absolutely no reason to believe this man. You know, Van Zeeks looks like he belongs in an Otomi game. Now that I look at him. Prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Oh shit. What? A smoke bomb? What is this? The cold guy who's in his 30s? Look. That's someone's type. What is going on? Look, you know, every game has to have like the variety. Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo, cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. We're hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. What the fuck is going on? All right, what are we doing now? Investigating? Trial? No, trial part 3. Wait, part 3? We're at part 3 already? I didn't even know the previous part was part 2. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened. Mrs. Sato. I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. Smoke grenade? Sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then could it be? The other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? This can't be the real killer, can it? I thought it's exactly. So he wasn't lying. Because the real killer was wearing a top hat and stuff. There's so many things I need to ask him about. He's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecution's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who was she, I wonder? What was she even doing there at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? 20 pence. Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems that there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. That is strange.
Constable Defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl would be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. But how soon enough, Mrs. Sato? Yes! All right. Oh, there she is. What's she doing that pose for? Looking badass. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. He's doing the fucking Jotaro hat tipping. Yari does it. She must have been the one who caused a disturbance before.
Well, after all that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, my lord, I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier.
It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, the sort typically employed by the army.
Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name?
It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. Now occupies the stand.
Your name, girl?
Kujo Jotaro.
Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such a pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior?
If I may, my lord.
Yes, Mr. McGilded.
I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lass were here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? It's all tied up with the events of that night, so it is.
Very well, Mr. McGilded, give your testimony. You'll explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. You could have told me this, buddy. I'm trying to keep you alive. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. And begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. Fair start. Oh my god. That's a misread and a half. Oh. Yeah, this guy sharded himself. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I set him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball. I didn't know wee yourself away.
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct?
'Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel?
I don't even know her name yet. Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Fucking stare again. That is my favorite expression in this game. Alrighty.
Hold it!
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? No, they're not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either.
You were the first passenger, as it were. I see.
Aye, and that's why I took the backside I did. It is the most comfortable, so it is.
Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat?
By all means, just how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite, the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, just the most uncomfortable and where I feel the most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well.
Ooh, sorry about that.
Hold it!
Loud thud, you say? And a scream. Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed, but he was sat up. When the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. On the floor? Same moment you did hear a scream? None above me, no, my lord. It was from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. Oh, you did set him. Yeah, you're the one who set him up. Yeah.
Hold it!
But I did on the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. All right, one sec, guys. Gotta clear the old nasals. Okie dokie. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? I mean, he's dead. You can leave him there. It's common courtesy, so it is.
I find that a little hard to believe.
Ah, Lord Von Zieks. Now, why would that be?
Ara?
McGilded is a anime MILF confirmed? McGilded Onesan? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would just hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. McGilded looks like he buys a lot of concubines. He's got that pimp fit on. All that purple and gold. Well, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. Yep, definitely pimping on the side. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Yes, heavens alive, no, I was intended to report it, so I was. Only, I don't mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing.
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. Oops. Keep on clicking on those buttons. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well, now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. It came from his ass.
Good gracious.
Your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I've been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole over there for storage. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, I saw that. The bus was submitted as evidence. And that's when I found her. A child.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding it herself. Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well... my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. Ugh, you're really overreacting this. Still and all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wag with her.
You said this young girl next to a corpse, sir?
Oh my god. Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I need to find out just who this urchin was, you see? And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fella's voice this time. Looking down from the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and a gentleman with a knife in his belly. Oops, skipped a lot of dialogue. Presumably the scream was Mr. First. Yeah, looking at the skylight, must have seen this young girl and a gentleman. Alrighty.
What they believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason?
Aye, my lord. Well, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight.
It's certainly plausible that if Bennett is somewhat diminutive in stature, inwardly confused perhaps with this young girl.
After that, of course. With the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up to the horses.
Make you have heard enough. However, at least one conundrum remains.
Huh? What's the huh?
Who is the girl?
You've never introduced yourself. Her name is Gina Lestrade. Gina Lestrade? Oh, you thought you was gonna go to trial. It's like, all right, I've heard enough.
Yeah, guilty.
Bam. That would have been hilarious if they ended it right there. Gina Lestrade. What's the joke? Ah, a pickpocket. What?
This girl here a petty thief?
She's been in that pose this entire time.
Order.
I hate how clicking on those buttons at the bottom actually opens them. Like, I just want to click anywhere on the screen to advance.
Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question.
Oh my god. You can't just shoot the guy like that. You're gonna get hanged.
How dare you? What is the meaning of this?
Oh, there she goes. Open your eyes. Ooh. I thought that was McGilded talking. I'm over here.
Good gracious, how?
What's the point of that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're to determine the truth, not cast. Oh, I get the green? Oh, she fucking sent the fart cloud at me. Oh, you're gonna get it now. Full on assault in the middle of court? Look, it's Ace Attorney. It's par for the course, alright? I've had worse. The swords flying everywhere. Bead projectiles. Whips. Hot coffee. What else? You thought of the girl from the ship? They do kind of look similar. They're a similar age too. Hopefully she's not the culprit. That'd make two 15-year-olds in a row, which would be unfortunate. Yeah, the whip. My girl Francisca. All right. Let me try to work on the voice for her. I do like her little like coin trick thingy. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, right? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs? Oh, this? Yeah. This was a bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the old four-wheeled drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Don't tell me that belongs to Sholmes. That looks like something that Sholmes would use. Fucking Inspector Gadget ass Sholmes.
Do not wave that thing in my direction again.
Yeah, I do not want another fart cloud in my face. So, you meant you were riding the omnibus on the night in question. Tis all right, lass. You can tell them the truth now. All right, yeah. Just like the Irishman said.
The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
All right, if I have to. What the girl saw. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I tell you, I can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of me skin, I did. And the scream just came out. It's 'cause that this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind.
Yes, he let you go. Failed to understand why you would let the street urchin go, Mr. McGilded.
Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I mean, he was sitting on her. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for.
Get in the cubby.
This is where I sat that night. And
the cubby hole of which you have spoken is underneath this seat, I presume. Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of that girl's stature.
Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there. Because I parked myself in the seat for the duration.
Oh.
So you see, that's why I let the last bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, I'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself a young life was ruined when all the time, oops. I need to like unbind right click as a confirm button. Why is it when I hold right click, it just keeps going on? Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of a less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman.
My lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this.
Oh, he hit him with a gentleman angle.
I'm ashamed of myself for even doubting you, sir.
What is it, like 5-1 now? With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Oh shit. We swept.
Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty?
Don't tell me Von Zeeks is gonna fucking pull something. Mr. Nahono, well, it must mean what? That we are victorious. Yes, celebrate now while you can. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Sir. Whoa. Damn, dude. Look. I'm sure someone's into the feet, you know? That is an impressive shoe you have, though. If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray do forgive the courtesy. This is a crazy pose work, though. This guy... I like this guy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day. Oh, now we're doing jury bad? Is that the narrative now? Jury bad? Abolish jury? Emotion? Been doing this Zumba? Oh, hey, good to have a workout, I guess. The witness's last statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good Lord. The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. Order, order! Could such a devious contrivance possibly been effected, counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of constabulary in allowing this to have happened. So many new words today. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Oh. Well, my Nipponese friend. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? Sorry? What did you say? Oh man, I'm getting tired. Kind of, my rate of yawns have increased the past few minutes. Go ahead, you tell the court now, fella. Oh, this is all an elaborate excuse. Oh no, that's... Yeah, it is. Elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zieks. Well, Counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? Ugh. You know what, guys? I am so tired that I think it's best if I just, like, call it for tonight here. You didn't look? Didn't look at what? Probably something from before. Oh, the answer, I didn't look. What can I say about the state of the little compartment under the seat of the omnibus? Well, clearly, I didn't look at what you were talking about. I was like reading. I didn't look. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was the one who didn't look. I'm the one who does not look. All right, well, it wasn't empty, but we'll answer that later. Yes, I did end up looking. Call me the looker. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. This trial's getting heated. Let's look at our people. What's your portrait like, Miss Gina Lestrade? What? Oh, she's 17. Not 15. What is your like joke from your name? I don't know. Gina Lestrade? Let's trade? I don't know. All right, well, great rest of your night, folks. Thanks, Sandy. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and be well. I'll be back at the usual time and place. Hope to see you there.